The key to triumph. Alcaraz's rival surprises him in Doha and explains everything. A match that seemed under Alcaraz's control. Everything pointed to Carlos Alcaraz having the semi-final ticket in his hands. After going up 4-2 in the third set, many thought the story was already written. But in tennis, as in life, nothing is guaranteed until the last point. Jiri Lehecka, with a steel mentality, reacted spectacularly. Instead of crumbling, he grew stronger, won 4 consecutive games, and ended up sealing an unforgettable victory. With this result, he not only reaches the tournament's Final Four but also secures the most important victory of his career so far. The key to victory according to Lehecka. At the end of the match, Lehecka spoke with Tennis TV and made it clear what the decisive factor in his victory was. To the surprise of many, it wasn't his tennis that made the difference, but his mental strength. These were his words. For me, the most important thing in a victory like today's is having kept faith in my tennis at all times, not shrinking and not falling behind. In the first set, I was a little lost, but at all times, I wanted to bet on my playing style, being aggressive and executing the plays where I am strongest. Somehow, I had to push him to the limit, so I also had to be patient and wait for the right moment to expose all my qualities and win the match. Clearly, Lehecka understood that in moments of maximum pressure, beyond talent, what truly matters is the ability to believe in oneself and stay calm. The Czech also highlighted that breaking back against Alcaraz in the first set was key to boosting his confidence. From that moment on, his mindset changed, and he never stopped believing he could win. Lehecka's future in Doha. With this triumph, Jiri Lehecka continues advancing in the tournament and is now on the doorstep of the final. However, the road won't be easy. After his victory against Alcaraz, he was asked about his next opponent, who would emerge from the match between Matteo Berrettini and Jack Draper. But Lehecka didn't fall into the trap of speculating too much. When you play an important tournament like this in Doha, you know that the level of the draw is tough, that every day you will face an opponent with a very high level of play, but each one will present a different challenge. Now I just want to focus on recovering as best as possible for tomorrow and start building in the right direction for my next challenge. His response makes it clear that he is focused on his own performance rather than on who his opponent will be, a detail that shows his maturity and competitive focus. A turning point in his career. For Jiri Lehecka, this victory is not only a significant step forward in the tournament but also a defining moment in his young career. At just 21 years old, the Czech has already demonstrated that he can compete at the highest level and challenge some of the best players in the world. More importantly, this win has given him the confidence to believe that he belongs among the elite and that he can achieve even greater success moving forward. The match had many ups and downs from the beginning. For me, being able to win a match of this caliber, against such a high-level opponent, means something huge. I always believed in myself, I knew I had this level, that I was capable of producing this level of tennis in these types of matches. The only thing I lacked was being a bit more consistent throughout them. Now I aim to achieve these kinds of results more frequently, not as something isolated, Lehecka shared after the match. This statement reflects not only his growing confidence but also his understanding of what it takes to establish himself as a top player. One great victory can be a breakthrough, but sustained success requires consistency, mental toughness, and the ability to handle pressure in key moments. Lehecka's performance against Alcaraz was a testament to his resilience and belief in his own game. Even when trailing in the third set, he refused to back down and instead raised his level when it mattered most. It is this kind of attitude that separates promising talents from true champions. If he can continue to build on this momentum and regularly compete at this level, there is no doubt that he will soon be a serious contender for major titles. Words that show this may just be the beginning of something great. If Lehecka manages to maintain consistency, we could be witnessing the rise of a new star on the tour. An unexpected defeat, but with good feelings, Carlos Alcaraz arrived in Doha as the clear favorite to reach the final rounds. However, Jiri Lehecka played an extraordinary match, holding strong in key moments and seizing his opportunities. After the match, Alcaraz spoke with the media and made it clear that he doesn't feel he made any major mistakes that would explain the loss. I talked with my team, with my coach, and honestly, I don't know what I could have done better. Probably some serves or some points where maybe I didn't play well. Honestly, I don't know. These statements reflect that, unlike other defeats where he pointed out mental lapses as a key factor, this time he feels that Lehecka simply had his moment and knew how to take advantage of it better. It was a tough feeling. I have to give him credit because he never gave up, not even when he was behind. Everything came down to a single point. That's what makes tennis so difficult, one single point makes the difference. Alcaraz hints that in such close matches, the line between victory and defeat is minimal. And in this case, the balance tipped in favor of the Czech. No mental lapses, but room for improvement. One of the points Alcaraz has been criticized for in some of his losses is his tendency to suffer mental lapses in important matches. However, the Spaniard assures that this time, that wasn't the issue. Today, I don't blame anything on mental lapses. I think I was at an optimal mental level. Simply, at certain moments in the match, he raised his level, and I wasn't able to match it. This shows an evolution in his mindset, something the player himself acknowledges. For him, both in Rotterdam and in Doha, he has taken a step forward in this aspect, which leaves him with good feelings for what's ahead. I have grown a lot as a person, as a player, despite today's defeat. I leave with my head held high knowing that I did things well, and this is the path to follow. Words that reflect a positive attitude and an intact confidence in his process. His experience in Doha and what's next on the calendar. Despite the elimination, Alcaraz highlighted how much he enjoyed his first experience in Doha and made it clear that he will return in the future. I love the tournament. I think it's incredible. Everything for the players is very well organized, everything is easy. The people who work here make this tournament truly special. The courts are in excellent condition. For us, everything is close, everything is convenient. I love playing here. I will be back next year, but I leave Doha with my head held high. With this message, the Spaniard makes it clear that this defeat doesn't shake his confidence and that he remains focused on the upcoming challenges. An ambitious but realistic Zverev. Zverev doesn't hide his ambitions. He wants to be the best in the world and knows he is in an ideal position to achieve it, especially with Sinner temporarily out of competition due to a suspension. However, in a press conference in Rio de Janeiro, he acknowledged that he still has areas where he needs to improve. You all already know how much I want to be a Grand Slam champion and world number one. I know that to achieve it, I will have to fight hard with Alcaraz and Sinner because even today, there are things they do better than me. Difficulties in Rio and his physical condition. Beyond his long-term goals, Alexander Zverev is fully focused on the ATP 500 Rio Open 2025. However, the tournament has not been easy for him. The conditions in Rio de Janeiro, with its high humidity and slower clay courts, have posed a challenge for many players, and Zverev is no exception. I think my level is improving little by little. Historically, I have needed several matches to display good tennis on clay, so I am satisfied with my progression. What worries me a bit is that my elbow might suffer due to the high humidity conditions here. The ball is heavy, it's hard to move, and that's not the best for my discomfort, Zverev admitted. The German has been dealing with recurring elbow issues, which have forced him to adjust his schedule at times. The heavy conditions in Rio, which make the ball more difficult to hit cleanly and require extra effort in every shot, could become a serious obstacle for him as the tournament progresses. Despite this, Zverev remains optimistic, knowing that adapting to these conditions is part of the challenge of competing at the highest level. His next challenge will be against Francisco Comesaña in the ATP 500 Rio quarterfinals, a key match to assess his level and see if he can aim for the title. A victory would not only boost his confidence but also put him in an excellent position to fight for the trophy in a tournament where he is one of the top contenders.